Okay, so a year into doing Zoom calls, and Barry thinks that there's a person. Let me turn this down. Sorry, just kind of jamming. Um, so a year into doing Zoom calls, Perry thinks there's a person that I'm talking to if I'm doing a video. So if she starts like barking or whatever, it's because she's actually trying to play with you, the viewer of this video, which personally I find very adorable. Um, so what I'm doing here is I'm using my blending stump. I've already gone through with my sharp tools and kind of removed some stuff. And I'm using my blending stump as an additional removal tool, because what I'm able to do is I'm able to remove by doing these kind of erasing like circles. I'm using the ridges on the blending stump as kind of like sandpaper to kind of smooth out around those edges of where I removed the part that I wanted removed. So I'm kind of laying my blending stump kind of flat, and then I'm getting some charcoal on my blending stump occasionally, and I'm using a soft charcoal so that it's easy to spread and work with. And then I'm just kind of coming in from these darker areas that I want to keep dark and just going into these lighter areas that I want to keep light. So that I think I may have overdone that there, but that's okay. It'll blend out. So that as I'm doing that, I'm blending into those layers that I'm creating. I'm blending in that charcoal into those layers, so I'm still getting that dark shadow around her eye that I want, but I'm also creating that depth and that texture that I'm trying to create by removing layers of the paper. And that visual interest. And I just kind of go at it from different angles and try to play with it and see what I think like I like, and what do I see that, this would look interesting, or maybe I just need to tear at that some more, like right here. I don't really care for this line that's been created, so I'll probably end up tearing at that some more. So that's kind of a peek into like the how and the why and what's going on when I'm blending and etching, using these tools. Again, you can use any tool that you have available to you: a rock, a pair of scissors, a butter knife. Using that those ridges on that blending stump. And sometimes this is a good way of cleaning your blending stumps too, because it just kind of ends up that way. And you just kind of go and blend until you feel the spirit of your ancestors say, "Enough, child." That's one of my favorite memes about adding spices to a recipe, but I kind of also feel like it applies to art too. You just blend until the spirit of your ancestors interrupt and, lay their hands on your shoulders. You're all done. So you're just kind of going in, and I'm not really going ham. I'm not going real hard here. Just kind of letting the it's just not a really big blending stump, so I don't really have much to hold on to, but I'm not really holding it very hard. I'm not really doing a whole lot of heavy handed work here. I'm really just kind of letting those ridges and that sandpaper like effect kind of do the work. And what also ends up happening is these like paper bits that come off tend to do some of the blending work for you, and they also tend to do some of the removal work for you. So I just kind of leave them alone for a while and kind of let them help. And you'll see me sometimes pick those up and use those as part of the process. So as you're playing with your own blending and your own etching skills, just know it's okay if you've made a hole in the paper. It's okay if you have gone too far with your tearing and your blending and your whatevers. Make it part of the work. Make it part of what you were doing. It will work out. And it's going to be beautiful because you've put in this love and this effort into it. And it's going to be unique because it's something that you've done that nobody else has done. Even if it's a technique that somebody else uses, the work itself is what is unique. I mean, even with doing, this, it is impossible to create the same exact work of art with this method because of the nature of it. So that's kind of the cool thing in and of itself, that even though you may be creating right along with me and working on, the same face, essentially, just the nature of how this is created, it cannot be the same. Your hand will naturally put different weight on the mediums and the tools, than mine. And when my hands start hurting and I start taking breaks, my hand reacts differently. I get impatient and start scratching at things, and you may not. So your artwork is uniquely yours, and that is what makes it yours. That is what makes it so awesome. Regardless of what you use, what tools come about from your, art supplies, even if they are store-bought or found. I think found art tools are, so much more interesting. They create so much more interesting art because they're not meant for that. So they create different textures and different effects on the work. Like these sculpting tools, they're not meant for sketching. They're not meant for use on paper. So the impact that they create on this work is very interesting. The tearing that happens, the layering process is interesting, frankly, because they're not meant for this. It's not what they were intended for. So I'm going to get a very different impact versus someone who just stops at their pencils or their eraser. So go out around your house and look at the different tools that you have available to you and what they can be used for, and how are you going to implement those into your art routine? How are you going to implement those into creating something cool and interesting? Um, I really challenge you to look around your house and your environment and see what you already have before you go to the craft supply store or the art store and buy things. Um, what do you have already that you can make art with? Um, we'll through the course of um, my journey with you, I intend to explore many different mediums and many different types of things, and I hope that you follow along. I hope that you are inspired. I hope that you are challenged, and I also hope a little bit you challenge me and inspire me and, remind me that, there's different ways of doing things and that my way is not always the best way, or, I don't feel like, I feel like, how can I phrase that? I feel like artists need each other, and it's very important and people need each other. It's very important for us to grow from each other and to learn from each other. So I really want this space, my social media, my art journey, Lady Skhi Creations, all of that to reflect that. I want it to be a community where we are learning and growing and doing stuff together as an art community, and not just me saying this is my way, this is the right way, this is the only way, because that's not true. And I am self-taught as an artist. I'm not going to say every, but nearly every art class that I took in college was a scam, and I don't even mind saying that out loud. I wish I had my money back for those classes, and none of the things that I'm telling you were said in those art classes that I recall. I was not made to feel like my art was valid in those classes. So if I wasn't made to feel like my art was valid in art classes in college, then, I really doubt that the person out there whose only, art tool is, food coloring and a Dollar Tree paintbrush. I really doubt that their art would be, that they would be made to feel validated in their art in a place like that. So I don't think that that is acceptable. I don't think that that is correct. I feel like every person, no matter, how you were born, what you are born with, every person is an artist, and every person should do art. It is, I think, a need. I think that we are all creators in our own way. Now, some of us are artists in, ways that we're we sew, or some of us are artists in ways that we write, or some of us are artists in ways that we cook, or, but everybody is an artist. Everybody creates. Everybody has a drive to create something, and it gets kind of squished out of us when we're growing up. There's typically an adult, some party pooper who comes along who just, for whatever reason, has the joyless vacuum of inhumanity and has decided that it's their job to treat everybody else that way, and they go, that's ugly, that's stupid, that's this, that's that, I don't like it, you're this, you're that, that's not art, that's not this, that's not that. And we listened to that person, and we put down our art tools, we walked away, and we never came back to them. Whether those were crayons or markers or pencils or whatever we had at the time that we were using, that we walked away from and never went back to, and thought, okay, well, I'm just not an artist, which is complete and utter crap. You are an artist. Every person is a creator. Every person is an artist. We are all born creators. We are all born artists. And tapping into that is part of our humanity and part of our lives that we're supposed to enjoy. There's a reason why we feel better after we've sat down with a kid and colored with, with some crayons for a while, and one thing I love about coloring with kids is they have not reached that garbage point where they're like, oh, that's ugly, you can't color that duck blue. They have not gotten that in their heads yet, that ducks can't be blue, or that you can't just scribble on a page and call it art. But as adults, we've had that squished out of us so often. So I'm encouraging you, if you're an adult watching this, turn off that part of your brain. Turn off that voice in your head, whoever it was who told you that, whether it was a teacher, a parent, a friend even. Turn that voice off. Walk away from that voice. Sit down with whatever you have available to you, even if it's just a piece of notebook paper or a piece of junk mail, and some, whatever you have available at your house, a pen, a pencil, whatever, and turn that voice off that says that you're not an artist, because that's just bullcrap and it's not true. You are an artist. And just start working with, whatever you have available to you and creating. Because you deserve that peace. You deserve that outlet of having something in your life that you can go to and feel like you have that creative and control to design and to do. I mean, if you believe in God, and I don't want to get too like religious or whatever, but if you believe in God, you believe God created us in his image. God's a creator, and why wouldn't being a creative being be part of that, like, creation? Like, God created us in his image to create. I think that's why humanity has always had that drive of, even from like cave drawings of like, we need to create, because It's just in us. It's in us as humans to want to create. So embrace that creation, embrace that need to create. Embrace your inner artist. You are an artist. Pick up whatever tool you have, and even if right now your skill is not where you feel like it should be, work on it. It will get there. One day at a time, it will get there. And you don't have to share it with anybody until you're ready to. You don't have to tell anybody about it until you're ready to. I would love it if you did share with us your journey. Share it with us on Lady Skhi Creations Facebook page. It's a group page. It's public. We would love to join you in that journey, but it's understandable if you want to just keep that private for a while you grow in your craft and your skill. I don't believe that art is a talent, because it is a skill that you work on. It's like any other skill that you can learn and grow in. You were already born with the skill to create. You were already born with the skill to be an artist and to do these things. You just have to hone that skill and figure out what works best for you. Because what works best for one person is not going to work best for somebody else. And the tools that person A uses are not going to work best for person B. We're just not like that. As humans, we're not cut like that. We are all different, and our brains are all different, and we all see the world differently, and that's completely okay. So it's okay that your art tools are not the same as my art tools, or that your way of drawing a face is not the same as my way of drawing a face. And it's completely okay if you have to adapt your tools to your abilities or your skill level at the time. Sometimes I have to wrap my tools in towels or other things to make them easier to hold, because my hand hurts and my arm hurts because I have mobility issues. These are okay. These are things that are okay to have happen to you and to accept about yourself. They don't make me any less of an artist. They don't make me any less of a person, or they don't make me any less of anything. They're just a fact of life with my mobility issues. But I've decided not to let that be a barrier for me by figuring out how to adapt that. And if you need help with, well, how can I adapt this? How can I make that work for me because of this issue or that issue? I'm happy to try to help give you some pointers or ideas, or try to workshop something with you or for you. I'm here for that. My education as a special education teacher could be put to good use for that. I honestly think that we all need arts and art education. And I feel like it doesn't get enough time and attention in our schools or in our daily lives, or in society as a whole, of the benefits of the arts in our lives. And you see, I'm trying to get a more comfortable angle here on this, because my hand is starting to kind of, I've been at this for days, so I really should probably take a break from this guy and do something that doesn't involve such tedious work. But I'm so enjoying this work that I'm being stubborn. Plus I know that I'm going to be taking a break tomorrow and hanging out with a friend, so there's that as well. So yeah, anyway, I'm thrilled that I'm able to share these things with you, and I'm able to know the magic of the internet and YouTube and all of the social medias, that we're able to talk about these things in open and honest ways, that we can go through these processes of the arts are for everyone, and we can talk about that person who shot you down and told you that they weren't, because that person is a liar, and that person was mean and a bully and abusive, and you didn't deserve to hear that from them because it wasn't true. You are an artist. You can do this. You can do this with whatever tools you have available. I have absolute faith in you, and I would absolutely love to see whatever you come up with. And if you are having trouble coming up with some things, let me know. Let's talk this out. Let's see what we can come up with together. The world is not, you're not alone, and the feelings that you're having, the issues that you're dealing with, I may not have the exact experience that you are having, but I'm definitely here for something. I'm here to help. That's what I'm trying to say. My brain is going blank, so I think I'm going to go ahead and call that a video, and just wish you well. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, share, all of those good things. And please, 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 please try to go find something to create, and don't let those negative Nancy, or I don't know, negative Ned people say terrible, horrible things to you and take up space in your head. Much love. Have a good day. Bye.